We know that behaviour is learned, and if it is learned, it can be unlearned.
We work with the adults in a child's life to support the child's needs, either with their learning or with their behaviour.
Often we hear that kids are being willful when they're engaging in inappropriate behaviour, but it's not so much willfulness as purposeful. It's less about what's happening within the individual child and more about what's happening in the context around the child, because that's what we can influence.
We work in an ecological way, which means we work across environments with a range of different adults to support a child.
We start with the young person in the middle, and then we are also engaging with their family, with their extended whānau, with their community, and so we are working in all of those contexts, both when we're doing our assessment and when we're doing our intervention.
We need to think about some of those wider influences in the child's life. School or early childhood facility. Nowadays, children's behaviour is so much more complex than it used to be because of the way society has developed. But if we're going to be even more sophisticated about explaining why the behaviour is happening, we need to look at that wider socio-cultural context. Perhaps they're living in poverty. Perhaps they're not sure about where the next meal is coming from. So you're starting to build up a much bigger picture of what is influencing the child's behaviour.
I'm painting this picture so that everyone that's involved in this life sees that picture and they can understand what's going on for that child.
We gain people's confidence because we're prepared to listen. We don't judge, and we recognise, yes, this is challenging for you. I think I can help. This is how best I can help.
Can I ask you a little bit more about what disruptive behaviours look like in the classroom?
Some of the challenging behaviours that I'm seeing is just the physical touching to other students, so that's been a really big concern.
When we can build up that bigger picture of what influences the negative behaviour, it also provides us opportunities to think about how we might provide some opportunities for the child to practice the positive behaviour.
As educational psychologists, we start off working with what children can do and not with what they can't.
When they're practicing that positive behaviour, we can come in with positive acknowledgement, which then becomes an antecedent in itself, increases the likelihood of that pro-social behaviour happening.
Some days something will take and he will become really interested in something, and that could be like the Lego.
A strength-based approach means that we're really seeking from the family and the young person what are the strengths that the people in the family and the young person have, and we're going to use those as the basis of any intervention work that we do.
Teachers are not trained to diagnose things like dyslexia or dyspraxia or any of those things. With the support of an Ed Psych, we can look at developing a program that can support the child in the home and at school.
The evidence that underpins our practice is hugely significant.
I found this really awesome resource about selective mutism.
Okay. Evidence-based research is crucial to the practice of educational psychology.
And I'm just looking at what the latest research has to say about it.
It's the ability to draw on the research and psychological theory and knowledge to inform the decisions that we make in the field.
Just thinking about the next steps for us, we'll probably come back and do some observations and try and see this behaviour for ourselves, collect a bit more data around what's happening in the environment at that time, and then we can move on to putting some strategies in place and work on a bit of a plan together.
The plan is a roadmap, I suppose, that identifies key tasks that we need those people around the child to do.
We can't change the world in a minute, but what we can do as educational psychologists is support the small growth and development of people working with children who are struggling with learning and/or behaviour.